This is Grow Omaha Uncut, where you can watch our radio show, including what goes on in the commercial breaks. And be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons.
Well, good morning and welcome to the show. Jeff Beals here at your service. This is the only show in the metro area that talks about business expansion, real estate, construction, economic development, fun things related to Omaha becoming bigger, more vibrant, and more prosperous. Thank you to our sponsors, Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics, for making this possible. And now, without any further ado, it's time to bring on my co-host, a legendary real estate deal maker and all-around good guy, Trenton Magid.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mr. Beals.
Well, good morning to you.
It's a beautiful Saturday morning here.
Yeah, in fact, last night, the northern lights were visible from Omaha, and our own Brad Williams, renowned photographer, was in the Missouri Valley, a little bit north of downtown Omaha. Got some good photos of that. You can see that on the Grow Omaha Facebook page.
Well, I got that text message among us boys that Rick Russell, our good friend and owner of Millard Lumber, he ran into him by an old barn taking pictures. And Rick is quite the shooter when it comes to the camera. And so I love seeing Rick Russell's photographs.
You know,
and Brad's, obviously.
I got to tell you, I'm a little bit disappointed myself. I completely forgot about the Northern Lights because I had intended to go outside and look, but so I missed it. But at least a lot of people got photographs, and that's pretty cool.
Who would have thought?
Well, let's talk about food. We have a restaurant review this week, and we have a new restaurant reviewer, Chris Corey, who's been part of our Grow Omaha team for the last couple of years. Chris, along with his wife Jennifer, is the owner of Arbor Creative here based in Omaha, and does, like I said, a lot of work with us at Grow Omaha, and he has taken over our Grow Omaha Eats restaurant reviews. And this week the review was Dolomiti Pizzeria and Enoteca, and sounds like a place you definitely want to go visit.
It sounds like it'll be my favorite Enoteca.
Do you frequent Enoteca? Enoteca?
That's plural. Since I didn't know what that was, I don't. Maybe I have, and I just don't know it.
Actually, I've been to several Enotecae, Enotecasauri, whatever they are, because a lot of
it's a prehistoric one.
A lot of very nice, not a lot, but some nice lounges and bars will be an Enoteca. But
that sounds much better than a gastropub.
Yeah, probably.
I always want to bring something for digestion when I go to a gastropub.
Anyway, you can read Chris's review about Dolomiti simply by going to growomaha.com. And then when you get to the navigation bar, you'll see reviews. When you click on the reviews, we have both movie reviews and Eats, E-A-T-S. And Eats are where all of our restaurant reviews are stored. And you can go back and read old ones if you want as well. And it's all right there for you. And we encourage you to take advantage of it. Well, let's go into our news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage. Eagle Mortgage knows mortgages as well as anyone does. They've been doing it for more than 30 years. It is the company's led by Holly Schneiderwin, good friend of ours. And she has a great team of people who are experienced and very customer service oriented. Eagle Mortgage is not a bank, so they can shop lenders, contrast and compare them to find the best one that's for you. Doesn't matter whether you're going to go conventional loan or maybe you're going to do an FHA or a VA. They help you with all of that stuff.
Imagine getting a loan or your stockbroker, or today, so much is done over the web and you don't get to sit in front of somebody. And at Eagle Mortgage, you can sit in front of Holly or one of her associates and actually ask the questions that you want to, know who you're dealing with. And that's very unique in these days.
Absolutely. You can find them online at eaglemortgagecompany.com or in person at 114th and Davenport Street. All right, let's look at the news. First of all, we have movement with the South 13th Business Improvement District this week. The City Council approved a resolution to formally create the city's newest business improvement district.
BID.
Yeah, and Trenton, tell us what a BID does.
Business Improvement District, there's one in the Old Market as well and some other places. Basically, the owners association gets together. They can impose dues based on the size of the property. Maybe it's the store frontage and that kind of stuff, or the property frontage. And so they make sure that they go above and beyond and take care of the neighborhood and make sure that it remains quality.
Well, this particular 13th Street BID, Business Improvement District, is roughly bounded by Mason, Venton, and then on the north and south, and then it's along 13th Street between 12th and 14th. And like other bids, you mentioned the downtown one, but Benson, South 24th, many others. This new one imposes a special assessment against real property located within the district boundaries. And this helps funds the infrastructure improvements, events, beautification. And one of the big deals is pedestrian safety. So that's moving forward, and it's encouraging to see.
I think just having conversations and being able to talk to your neighbors and getting to know other store owners, other office users and things like that, to know what's going on in the neighborhood. It's not a Mrs. Kravitz type of thing. It's not to team up on anybody. It's to maintain the quality of life.
Trenton, I'll tell you, I think one of the most important things that these business improvement districts do is weed control and litter removal.
Jeff's big on getting rid of weeds and litter. I know that.
It drives me
understandably, Jeff,
absolutely crazy when I see properties that are full of weeds or litter. It's not that hard, people. Just clean up after yourselves. Keep your properties clean.
Set a good example for your neighbor.
Well, these bids, will hire a company or a vendor, or sometimes the bigger ones would even have a full-time staff member or two that do that sort of thing, and it makes a big difference.
But Jeff, some people are going to ask us, like, what are we paying city taxes for?
Well, that's a whole nother question, and you can listen to one of the more politically oriented shows on KFAB to find out the answer to that and voice your opinion
Voorhees.
Accordingly.
Every weekday morning.
Well, the North Downtown Saul's Jewelry and Loan Properties, exact addresses are 507 and 514th North 16th Street, will be sold to the City of Omaha under a development agreement with Kiewit. Now, the City Council approved a purchase agreement of those parcels, and this will aid in the development of the Builders District. The Builders District is being led by Noddle Companies, and they are turning that into a very walkable, very cool urban development. The Kiewit headquarters is there.
Kiewit University,
Union Pacific's employee daycare for the kids, that is, and several other attractions. There's a open to the public, privately owned park that is under development. At any rate, all of this is going on. It's going to be very, very cool. And to make way for it, don't worry, you can still go to Saul's, Trenton. They have moved to 2215 Harney Street, which will be conveniently located along the streetcar line.
Excellent.
So if you want to pawn something, you can take the streetcar to it. The city of Bellevue is considering a mixed-use project that would transform an existing industrial building at 20th and Franklin Street. The owner plans to build a second story onto a current one-story, 9,000 square foot building. The second story would have apartments. The ground floor would have some commercial stuff. So a nice example of progress being made in the Bellevue area. And let's not leave out Council Bluffs. Council Bluffs seeks to open up new areas of development near I-80 and Canesville Boulevard interchange. And this is located, if you're not familiar with Canesville Boulevard, north of Iowa Western Community College. So Council Bluffs is starting to kind of maybe grow out into the hills there out by Iowa Western.
It's interesting. We're seeing a lot of movement down in Bellevue, their water park and mixed-use development down there. Highway 34, you're seeing Council Bluffs stepping it up, and all the communities. Gretna is obviously very busy on their new development. La Vista, Papillion, Omaha. It's almost like it's friendly competition.
No one wants to be left out of the development game.
Well, you see more incentives, and there's some government from COVID and different things like that, and people are working the subsidies and incentives pretty well.
Well, and we want to finish up with Omaha Performing Arts. The organization has announced that its 3 major venues that are located between 13th and 11th Street and between Douglas and Capitol Avenue will now comprise the Dick and Mary Holland campus.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be a 3-building campus, and that is to recognize and honor the Hollands for their support of the arts. Both Dick and Mary Holland have passed on, but did so much to support the arts during their lifetimes. And the campus includes the Holland Performing Arts Center, Steelhouse Omaha, which opened last year, and the Tenaska Center for Arts Engagement, which is attached to the east side of the Holland Center, under construction now and opening in 26.
It'll be interesting to see what kind of programming and education and events they have there.
In the Tenaska Center?
Yeah.
I think I think it's going to be heavy education focus, if I understand correctly. But it's quite an addition. It's over $100 million, 3 stories, and kind of fills up most of that grassy area on the east side of the Holland Center. And
then between that and the Conservatory of Music, the old Temple Israel on Cass, like 70th and Cass, that's pretty impressive.
Well, it is. And, last week we reported that that coffee shop, Myrtle and Cypress, from the 33rd and California area, north of Mutual of Omaha, they have a second location now inside the Conservatory of Music.
Perfect.
Cool stuff. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, your news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. Going to take our first break of the hour. And when we come back, Trenton and I are going to be talking about a couple other news items, not the least of which is that Nebraska is the number 3 state in America. Not number 3 state in America for something. It's just the 3rd best state in America. Out of 50, that's pretty good.
We'll take it.
All right. You're listening to Jeff and Trenton on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Tired of walking into a dull and uninspiring workspace? Want to inject some life into your environment?
2 weeks in a row, man.
I don't remember it sounding this bad last week.
It wasn't nearly this bad, but it was it was a nasal cold last week. But
to transform your space.
I don't know what to do.
Whether you're looking to impress clients, boost morale, or simply inject some personality.
Yeah, I do sound better than Robert Kennedy.
Check us out today at Rin.
What's that called? Dysphagia. His illness. Kind of embarrassing.
Yeah. It's going to be tough to be a public figure with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be tough to be a public figure with it.
Oh, yeah. No, I wasn't talking about him. I was talking about embarrassing for me.
Oh.
I don't care if he's embarrassed. That's his problem. So, given this voice, I think we'll do crummy reruns on the minutes this week.
You're going to rerun everything else I was going to
Yeah.
ask you. I can do that right now.
You know why I call them crummy reruns, don't you?
No.
Oh, because in the movie A Christmas Story, Ralphie goes, a crummy commercial. Mm-hmm. So I always call them crummy reruns.
Call Sunbelt Business
Son of a
Partners at 402.
A crummy commercial?
You sure
Get Chiquita bananas for 39 cents per pound. Chicken leg quarters just 69
I'm going to be in
cents
Cleveland
per
in a
pound.
couple
10
weeks,
20-ounce ketchup,
and
quit bragging.
They have,
or online
sorry,
today at highv.com/.
not everyone can live my life, but they have the actual house where that movie was shot,
Yeah, it's like a
and it's been
museum now.
restored and all that. I've set aside an hour and a half. I'm going to go see it.
Good.
Can't wait.
I would totally do that if I was in the area too.
Yeah,
Where's this?
Cleveland, like some old urban neighborhood in Cleveland.
I've heard you can stay at that house.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
I'm sure it's booked up.
Beware of the dog.
The Bumpus House. Well, the Bumpus building house is also preserved next to it.
It'd have to be.
Yeah. I'm gonna go visit it.
Every time that scene happens, Jen cringes with the turkey getting decimated. And it's just,
She's like, it's such a waste.
yep, exactly right.
They're like, Jen, it's a movie.
Someone should hold those bumpuses accountable.
So, Scott,
Yeah, they could be sued.
Trenton,
Especially nowadays.
these two guys are just blowing up the Grow Omaha website. Chris is doing movie reviews and
Really?
restaurant reviews. And
We're going to have daily news launching here in a couple weeks.
Got a couple of riders.
It's especially impressive since every time I think, I'll go watch a movie, I'll take a look at what's out, and I don't want to see any of them.
I agree.
Surprised
Fair.
I didn't find
There
anything.
hasn't been a good slew of them.
Did anybody make it through Jerry Seinfeld's Unfrosted?
I've heard people that
don't
liked
even know
it,
what
I've
it
heard
is.
from people that hated it.
Yeah,
couldn't get through
I'm on the
10
ladder. That was horrible.
Yeah.
Really?
10 minutes in, I'm like,
What is it, a documentary?
No, it's a spoof on Post versus Kellogg's on the invention of the Pop-Tarts, and it's. I mean, I'm sure both companies get great press for it, but it's like it was
Is it
still
a movie or a
Well,
show?
it's a Netflix film.
People said that Seinfeld trying to do like a Ron Burgundy kind of a thing, or an Office Space kind of a bit. I don't know.
It's not great. It's overacted, very campy.
So I'm not a fan of Amy Schumer, so that
Yeah, neither am I. I didn't know she was in it.
When the weather turns bad, turn to
There's a lot of her in it.
1110 KFAB and the Pyramid Roofing Severe Weather Center, and be ready when storms develop.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beal sitting next to Trenton Magid. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, along with Cheer Athletics. Speaking of Cheer Athletics, it is a great place for you to look into for your kiddos. It is part of the All-Star Cheer industry, and All-Star Cheer is an amazing sport, getting more and more popular all the time. It is a great mix of physical fitness, teaching kids communication and teamwork skills, and also competitiveness and pride in their work. We believe very highly in the organization, and if you have kids or grandkids who might benefit from such an experience, we encourage you to stop by and check it out. The Omaha location is located southwest of Highways 50 and 370 in beautiful Papillion. Well, Trenton, let's talk a little bit about some good recognition that Nebraska received. U.S. News each year does a best states ranking. And for 2024, Nebraska came in at number 3. And to compile the list, U.S. News drew on thousands of data points to measure how the states are performing for their citizens. Nebraska, in particular, did very well with fiscal stability, infrastructure, and natural environment.
of course we knew that.
Well, I think a lot of people are kind of surprised about that when you live here and you think, we know the place, it's no big deal, and maybe we see the flaws, or we think to ourselves, there's no mountains or beaches, but
And
really,
it's not so populated going west.
exactly.
So who was number 1 and 2?
So number 1, Utah. Number 2, New Hampshire. And number 4 was Minnesota. 5, Idaho. Our friends to the east, Iowa. Number 6, 7, Vermont. 8, Washington. And 9, Florida.
So within a week, we were. Was it Forbes Home that said that Omaha is the best place to move in 2024?
Yeah.
They got 100% ranking.
Yeah, that was crazy. We talked about that last week. That Omaha as a city did very, very well and scored, like you said, perfect. Which, I mean, I know we got a lot of good things going here,
Right.
but a perfect score, I still kind of having a hard time wrapping my
There's
head
probably
around
some
that one.
conspiracy theorists out there that are wondering, finding out who the selection committee was and at Forbes Home how they did that. But you know what? We'll take the bragging rights.
When you speak about conspiracy theories and, their impressions of Omaha, historically, when you talk to people from Omaha, Nebraska, if they think there's a conspiracy theory, they think it's against Omaha or
Right,
against
exactly.
Nebraska. And it cracked me up because as soon as that news about Omaha being number 1 most popular or best city to move to in 2024, came out, we started hearing the opposite. Oh, that's fixed, or it's bought and paid for. I'm like, really? So compared to all of these bigger cities, someone in Omaha cared so much that they came up with incredible amounts of money for Forbes to throw the contest to make us rank higher than we deserve.
Yeah.
So apparently Nebraska threw it as well to get us up there at number 3. But congratulations, and be happy if you live in Nebraska or Iowa, number 3 and number 6 best states. So Trenton, we we had an interesting article in the Gromont newsletter this week about Mutual of Omaha construction. And when you go by the new skyscraper, it's really looking good.
Absolutely. And the unique construction technology.
Yeah. So when you go by now, you're looking at an elevator tower, which is really referred to as the shear tower. It's the spine of the building. And you can see it completed up to about floors 12 or 13, but they're actively working on 14 and 15 right now. The scope of that thing, when you see it from the street, is pretty impressive.
Yeah. It'll take a while to get this thing built, but tell them about the forming. What do they call the middle?
Oh, the middle is called a self-climber. And so crews have set this thing up where, they use it to form the concrete that goes around what will eventually hold the elevators and the stairwell, the core, yeah. And then when the concrete for each level has cured, it is able to jack itself up, presumably with some human assistance, and climb. It climbs itself up the shear core, the shear tower. And right now, the tower cranes have not raised in height. They've been kind of what they are ever since they were constructed last summer. But later in the year, you'll start to see those tower cranes start to go up. Those are also self-raising as well.
And not to mention that when they get to the full, 677 feet and 44 stories, then the tower cranes will disassemble the self-climber and take it down.
Yeah, that's where the fireworks get really interesting, and you have to know what you're doing, I'm thinking, in order to pull off that kind of stuff. Well, let's mention another news story for everyone as well today. Got some good news, some good economic development news coming out of Valley, Nebraska, in Douglas County, part of the metro area. 3M, the manufacturing company out of Minnesota, has a big plant out there in Valley. And groundbreaking has taken place for a $67 million expansion project at that manufacturing plant. It'll add about 90,000 square feet, more production, more warehouse space, increasing the employment by another 40 jobs.
Do we know what they're making out there?
They make some. I know they make some personal protective equipment. They did very well during COVID.
Yep, those masks.
Yeah, and I think they do some in addition to the masks, maybe other personal protective equipment.
We'll say even though it's under $100 million, which we've announced numerous $100 million plus projects on the economic development side on this show just this year, we'll take the $67 million projects as well.
Yeah, it is kind of a downer when you see one below $100 million these days.
That's crazy.
$100 million doesn't buy what it used to.
It used to, yep.
All right. We're going to take our middle of the show break and do the news on the half hour. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about our Noddle Company Spotlight. Got a new restaurant at Exarban Village. And we have a few other news items and discussion points to share with you. You are listening to Jeff and Trenton, brought to you by Cheer Athletics and Dingman's Collision Center on News Radio 1110 KFAB. God, this is getting worse. You might have to do more talking in the next segments. Don't start.
We're good at helping you make the most of
Okay.
your money.
Sounds painful.
Routine business banking and
Chris can use my mic.
Yeah.
So local decisions
Chris, you wanna talk?
about your goals for growth. Frontier is the bank for your business. And we're not just good with money. You're
It's
also
bad.
right, we're good with people.
I thought this morning it was going to, because at breakfast I was doing the no. It was sounding okay.
Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Are you thinking about
I had to do webinars
worried
this
about
week.
confidentiality?
One for a real estate company in Canada and one for in Arizona. And the second one, thank God, was only 25 minutes long. First one was 90 minutes.
Pick It Up is an
help
initiative
recovery.
to activate
They
student-powered
sounded so
teacher-led
bad.
learning projects. Students
you
and
need to make
teachers,
yourself some more
how
hot
can you
toddies.
spark great learning experiences in your
Ready, whiskey?
classrooms today?
Whiskey,
Join
honey,
at
and Earl Grey.
thinkitup.org.
Do we have any whiskey here?
If you
Drinking
live
at Gary's
in
office.
Of Anderson Convenience Market's 8 metro area locations, you
check.
probably
What's that?
noticed
Should I go
a
check?
change. Quality Amoco fuels are back. Look for the Amoco logo at Anderson Convenience Market.
Okay, what do we want to talk about in this segment? I've got,
One of the most iconic fuel brands in America, and now it's better than ever. With Amoco, you get high-quality fuel prepared with the Invigorate detergent package, resulting in the best long-term care for your
Okay,
engine.
this is what I have in this segment.
Serving Omaha since 1952.
Tiny
And
pizza.
never with quality
We just
Amoco
then. Did you see this thing from John about B's uniforms?
Yeah.
So are you involved in that?
Yeah, I did represent one. We could talk about that and get it over with. Did you print that out at all?
No, but you can pull it up on your email.
All right, hold on. I'll talk about it.
What else are you comfortable talking about so you can talk more than me?
I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy,
You want
or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about
that.
these warning
This we're just kind of talking. I kind of thought the progress was looking pretty cool on that.
For others, hazy or blurred vision makes it like fine print.
Progress on that looking pretty cool.
Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving
Here we
at
go.
night difficult. GA
You found it?
gets worse over time and cannot
Yeah.
be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
And
Everyone
or
says they like working with a local company. Then it comes time to get that home loan. You know, just the biggest investment most of us ever make, and they grab their phone and start playing with apps. Just don't. Contact
It's,
Holly and her fun and
overexposed on
professional
this
staff
station.
right here in Omaha at
People are
Eagle
tired of this
Mortgage
voice.
for your mortgage or
I doubt
refinance.
they want to hear
and let
more
them
Jeff's
beat the
voice right
national
now.
lenders
Jesus
on
Christ.
rate
And who could
and
blame them?
service.
Yes.
Eagle Mortgage online at eaglemortgagecompany.com. NMLS number
This happens to me like 2 or 3 times a year. I'll go through like a few days of this.
Another week done at former President Trump's New York City hush
Usually
money trial as he
skips the
battles a
show, though.
gag order.
What's that?
Usually skips the show.
Or it's like,
I think maybe once a year. It's,
Yeah.
At least since doing this.
yeah.
Testimony resumes on Monday morning. The
I
US
did hot
voting
tea this
no on the
morning.
United Nations resolution that passed easily, reviving
But I switched to iced tea though. That
membership
probably was my
continue to
downfall.
believe in the power promise of a two-state solution and an independent.
All right, I got
state
this one
for
down.
Palestinians
All right, you
was
good?
something that President
yeah.
And then we'll have you. We'll have you do the Dingman's promo.
Okay.
National
When do you want the
Security
demons?
Council
We'll do that
spokesman
first thing we
John
come back.
Kirby is listening to Fox News.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
Just a beautiful Saturday here. Sunny, a high of 81 and light winds, clear 56 overnight, a high of 79 tomorrow with a 40% chance of showers, maybe a thunderstorm in the afternoon. That chance of rain hangs out tomorrow night and throughout the week ahead, a high of 73 on Monday. That's your forecast. I'm Scott Voorhees. 64 now in Omaha, Lincoln, and Council Bluffs. Grow Omaha with Trenton Maggot and Barry White returns in 90 seconds.
Uninspiring workspace. Want to inject some
Are you not going to say anything about your voice? I will.
The local company that produces stunning
RFK Jr.
window film to recognition and history wall. We have the expertise to transform your space. So, whether you're looking to impress clients, boost
offer you my
morale,
hot
or
coffee,
simply
but you don't
inject some
drink it, and actually coffee
personality,
might
we've
make
got
it
you
worse.
covered.
Would
Check
it?
us out
Might make
today
it better.
at Renz.com.
Take a look.
That's RENZE.com.
You mind?
No,
All right. We'll pour it in a cup so you can still have some.
No, I'm good. I've got plenty.
With energy
Sure.
saving
Okay.
LED downlights from Fight
You can have it if
Electric.
you want.
They're bright and install easily.
Where's your
in
iced
just
tea?
minutes.
What are you
No,
drinking?
no. It helped.
Lighting
Is that tea? What is it?
mode with
Coffee.
just a simple
Coffee.
flip
Just
of
straight
a
black
switch.
coffee.
Save
Yeah,
on all
that
the
helps.
lighting products now at Menards. Shop our lighting options today in store and on
We make
Menards.
good coffee for our house.
Chris,
What's
your
that?
last name?
Jennifer.
Spelled
You didn't choose to get into an accident. You have a choice before you get your
just
vehicle
like it
repaired.
should be.
When
Why
you
do I
choose Dingman's
have to
Collision
think
Center,
about that?
you're choosing
GEN.
G-U-E. That'd be good of her.
What's that?
That'd be good of her.
I don't think whenever I see it with G, I always think of that. It was like one of Bill Clinton's illicit affairs was with a Jennifer Flowers, spelled with a G.
You did say it's Jennifer with a J, right? Jennifer.
With a J, yeah. J.
All right, here we go.
Bad split in the Nebraska GOP. We talked to State GOP Chairman Eric Underwood. You can hear the interview on the podcast link. Morning news page, KFB.
And welcome back to the show. The vocally compromised Jeff Beal sitting next to Trenton Magid. Show's brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center along with Cheer Athletics. And Trenton, we love ourselves some Dingmans.
Let me tell you about Dingman's. I've known these guys for about 25 years, and the Dingman family has 4 locations. They have 120th and West Maple Road, which is both mechanical and collision center. They have Industrial Road, just over by F Street. They have Papillion, downtown Papillion, and they have Saddle Creek by West Center Road, just north of there. And they do an amazing job. They work on Jeff's cars and my cars, and they are the best in their category every year. So we highly recommend Dingman's Collision Center. Go to dingmans.com.
And we are also going to do our commercial real estate development spotlight of the week, which is brought to you by Noddle Companies. And this week we are talking about a new restaurant in the Inner Rail Food Hall. It's called Tiny's Pizza Joint. Tiny's Pizza Joint.
There are so many great options, whether you want dessert or you want pizza. Noddle Companies has really energized the park with Sonny's Airstream trailer, live music. They got cornhole. They've got dog parks. They've got something for everybody at Exarban Village.
And this new Tiny's Pizza officially debuted after opening last month softly. You know, a lot of these places do soft openings.
Right.
And it's owned by Sam Tiny Laughlin. So we got to get a look at Sam, because whenever someone's named Tiny, they're either really tiny or they're really huge, and it's an ironic name.
Absolutely. And music has really picked up in the Stinson Park as well.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about Noddle Companies and what people need to know about it.
Well, Noddle Companies is a name that you've heard of for many years, multi-generational firm. They do a lot of big projects in Denver and around the country, but Omaha knows them for several projects. They have the Valmont headquarters out on West Dodge Road. They have they built, Jeff, a lot of people don't know this, but First National Business Park and what's now BMO, BMO, or what do they call it now? BMO. BMO, which was started as Commercial Federal Business Park, but they are Riverfront, or what do they call it? River's Edge.
River's Edge.
River's Edge down in Council Bluffs is really blowing up, and it's a neat place to go look at. So Noddle Development has been very active, and they donate a lot of their time and expertise for the streetcar, for the Urban Core District, and Jay Noddle and Sam Noddle and the company has been a big part of the Omaha community. So we recommend Noddle Development Company.
And on the northwestern corner of Exarban Village, this is not technically part of Exarban Village, but it's called Exarban Center. It's a shopping center there that is run by Access Commercial Real Estate Company. Regis plans to open a co-working office, 7,200 square foot second level space. Right there in that center, which is on the southeast corner of 72nd and Pacific. And Regis Trenton is one of these organizations. It's a nationwide brand that is in cities all over the country.
And that's your Noddle Development Spotlight of the Week, brought to you by Noddle Companies. Check them out.
Hey, speaking of that Exarban Center, also in that same area, Total Wine is going to be opening its first Nebraska location.
Yeah, the former Bed Bath & Beyond. That'll be a nice wine shop, very visible. And it seems like from wall to wine, beer, and spirits, Omaha's drinking more, or I don't know, but they just seem to be prolific.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm doing my part if Omaha's drinking more, because these specialty liquor stores and super liquor stores, kind of fun to go to, actually. And another one is opening just a little bit south, about 2 miles south of Total Wine, and that is Macadoodles, which is 72nd and Grover, and that one is looking like it's getting really close to opening.
Absolutely. And right behind Macadoodles and the 3 or 4 new hotels right on 70th and Grover Street, John Meyer and I have a new listing. There's going to be a $65 million apartment complex that Parkway Development and J Development is under construction on, very upscale development. And we've got 1 acre sites. You can get up to 4.44 acres and talk to John Meyer or me, and you can put your business there as well.
So, Trenton, we want to talk about a new business going into a shopping center that you're involved with. You are the leasing broker for Frederick Square, which is on the west side of 84th Street, a little bit south of West Center Road. And tell us a little bit about what's new there.
Well, Frederick Square is about a 205,000 square foot shopping center that's been around for a long time, right on 84th and Frederick, just south of Canfield Plaza and West Center Road. We want to congratulate our friend Scott Adams, who owns Great Plains Uniforms, but now everything's called V's Uniforms. And he took 4,800 square feet a couple years ago in Frederick Square. And V's Uniforms works with several hospitals, medical clinics, specialty clinics, eye clinics, dental clinics, and many other businesses. They do silk screen printing and embroidery. And check it out on May 21st to May 25th. They're celebrating their re-grand opening of V's Uniforms, and they're offering many discounts to their medical and first responders in Omaha. All scrubs for sale this week will be offered at 25% off to non-discounted items. All shoes and accessories are 10% off regular price. So check out V's Uniforms. Congratulations to Scott Adams.
I also want to mention downtown last week, Berkshire Hathaway, of course, had its Woodstock for Capitalists annual shareholders meeting at the CHI Health Center in Omaha. And a lot of those participants probably walked by, or the attendees rather, probably walked by the construction site for the Baby Bob Bridge. And if you haven't been down in that area, the progress is coming along nicely. The Baby Bob will be a bridge to a bridge, so to speak. It connects North Downtown with the Bob Carey, Missouri River pedestrian bridge, creating a lot of connectivity down there, which is important given the fact that so many things are happening on the riverfront. Supposed to be open this fall, but it is coming along fast.
I got the opportunity to talk to a lot of the Berkshire Hathaway stockholders and visitors from around the world, and the thing I heard most was the amount of tower cranes, the amount of projects throughout the Omaha area, and they get around. They just don't hang out downtown. They were out west. They had a list of restaurants that they wanted to go to. Not only do they want to see Warren Buffett's house, but they also, where they go to Borsheim's or they get a tour of the city. And so it was fun to brag about our city. And one guy from Cleveland was like, man, your town is so much more on the move than Cleveland. And he's like, if I wasn't stuck to my job or whatever in Cleveland, he'd be moving here.
We love hearing things like that. Very, very encouraging. And it shows us that we're doing a pretty good job. And then that people come here and they tend to notice things that are happening.
The other thing that's been blowing up, ladies and gentlemen, if you go to the growomaha.com, check out our weekly market report. We're over 25,000, or about over 20,000 people that get it every week. We're heading towards 25,000. And we're offering new features in there. Our friend Chris Corey is now doing restaurant reviews and movie reviews, and there's a lot more to come on growomaha.com as well as our newsletter.
Yeah, we'll pretty soon be announcing some expansion of news on Grow Omaha, so stay tuned for that. All right, going to take our last break of the hour, and when we come back, we're going to have our Turner Construction, or rather our Perkins Kreitzer Construction lightning round, and I'm looking at the list, and there's quite a few things on it. You don't want to miss any of this. Tons of restaurant stuff, some retail things, a few things that might even make you raise your eyebrow. So anyway, you're listening to Trenton Magid and Robert Kennedy Jr. on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
The only way that could have been better is if he was in the studio.
Oh my God.
Do you have his?
I'm like rattled because of the voice.
Do you have his?
Yeah.
We have the best coaches in the region to help you
We'll say
Has your athlete ever
We'll say, well, the main thing we want to talk about is they're doing a Jersey Mike's 3825 Denmark Drive.
Okay. Where's that?
And Metro Crossing,
Okay.
Council Bluffs. They did the interior build out. Grand opening May 15th. And then he wants us to mention they also started building a Jersey Mike's in North Platte that'll open in July.
This is Jersey Mike's?
Yeah, it's all Jersey Mike's.
In North Platte?
Yeah.
So, do they have a website?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We never talk about their website. You think that's...
I'll pull it up here.
Because how do people remember Perkins Kreitzer?
Yeah.
Spring into deals at Lowe's with up to 35% off select major appliances.
Yeah, they don't fire us for that
on every $500
Turner mention.
on select LG major appliances. Offer valid
Where'd it go? Oh, it's PC Construction. Here it is.
Lowes.com for details. Hey John, what's up, Blonde?
What's the website?
P-C construction.com.
P-C construction, and then there's no space after C.
No, it's like this. See, up here.
Okay.
And the basics of AI, and you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a
You could say like, I'll come back and I'll say it's the lightning round brought to you by Perkins Kreitzer Construction. Then you jump in and talk about that and that.
Okay.
And then.
What about this?
This is
not them.
This is part of the lightning round.
But it's not them. Okay.
Yeah, not
I'll
them.
give it back.
EasyCater has everything you need to make food for work.
Yeah, so they end
with easy online ordering and
that.
reordering. Save your favorite orders, make edits as needed, and click. We even help you with expenses by keeping your receipts all in one place, which means all you need to do is
What do they call Miracle Hills Square? No, I think it's not Square. I think it's Miracle Hills on the west side.
That's what I always just call Miracle Hills on the west side.
EasyCater.com.
If you've driven
That's
by
really coming
any of
along.
Anderson
Yeah.
Convenience Market's 8 metro area locations, you probably noticed the change.
Trey,
Quality
thanks for the
Amarillo
coffee.
fuel is an
A little bit, yeah.
logo at Anderson Convenience Market.
Yeah, not as much, yeah.
All right, think you can make it another 8.5 minutes?
Yeah, I think we can. I don't know if the listeners can.
Oh, they're all gone.
Okay. Good, I feel much better then.
Anderson Convenience
Ashton
Market.
Building, according to Work Commons website's 100. The
Here we
building's
go.
140 years.
40. Okay, I can believe 40. Yeah.
As the president turned his back on our greatest ally in the Middle East, Senator Deb Fischer joins us Monday, KFAB's Morning News.
All right, Robert Kennedy Jr., also known as Jeff Beals, sitting next to Trenton Magid. This is the Grow Omaha Show, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics, and it is now time for our Perkins Kreitzer Construction Lightning Round.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know Perkins Kreitzer Construction. Probably you've seen the signs on the west side of 114th over in the Miracle Hill Shopping Center, that totally rebuilt shopping center that you've frequented many times. They're going to get some new tenants going in there. Dave Kreitzer runs PC Construction. If you go to p-cconstruction.com, you can learn a lot about them. But right now they're working on a Jersey Mike's at 3825 Denmark Drive in Metro Crossing. That's in Council Bluffs, right along I-29. They're doing the interior build-out, and the grand opening should be May 15th, so they are almost done with that one. They've also started a building for Jersey Mike's in North Platte, and that'll start in July. So Perkins Construction, they do all types of projects in the metro area, and they'll travel throughout the Midwest. And they're a newer company, but they have great experience. They've got a lot of the trades. And give Dave Kreitzer a call at p-cconstruction.com. And that is your Perkins Kreitzer Construction. This is your...
our lightning round.
Lightning round.
That's right. And so the first item we have on the lightning round, we have a new company by the name of Terra Gaucha. Terra Gaucha has registered with the state of Nebraska to establish a restaurant in the old Charleston's location. This is the one by about 138th and West Dodge Road.
Freestanding building.
Yeah, and they of course moved to Heartwood Preserve a little bit to the south, and we've known that a restaurant is going to replace it. But this Terra Gaucha that appears to be coming is out of Florida. They have locations in Jacksonville and Tampa. They also have one in Connecticut. They're working on one in Indianapolis, but upscale Brazilian steakhouse. I think it's a good use for that building.
Absolutely. Especially we've heard that the Mahogany Prime building nearby is also going to be an upscale steakhouse.
Yeah, owned by, we think, by Greg Young, who is famous for the car dealership, but he is also the owner behind Salted Edge on Highway 275 in West Dodge Road. So that's some good restaurant news coming up in that area. True American Bar and Spirits, a new themed cocktail bar, has officially opened in the former Marleybone Bar.
That's the throwback bar, right?
Yeah, it is. When you said throwback, you kind of threw me, but yeah, you're
70s, kind of a 70s thing with a disco ball and kind of laid back type of place.
Yeah, it's 3710 Leavenworth is the exact address, Trenton, but the bar is described as unique cocktails, great music, a glowing disco ball, as you already mentioned, even a photo booth. So you can have all sorts of 1970s style fun.
Did we have photo booths back in the 1970s? I don't remember that.
We did, but you and I came of
Black
age
and white.
in the 80s. And remember when we were coming of age in the 80s, if you would go to Crossroads, Westroads, there was no Oakview. They had those little photo booths and you would get 3 pictures and you and 12 friends would try to crowd into that one little booth, take the picture.
Yes, sir.
Good memories. The Underground Kitchen, the latest dining concept in Little Bohemia, has officially opened, 1424 South 13th Street. This is a reservations-only place.
Yeah, that you got to get on like their Instagram or their direct mail on Facebook to make a reservation.
You're a big deal when you're reservations only. El Milagro Mexican Bar and Grill has opened for business at 529 North 155th Plaza. In English, that's Pepperwood Village, 156th and Dodge. It's a sit-down restaurant, and it is the latest concept from Javier Trujillo, who is the owner of Javi's Tacos, Helados Locos.
What is that, the 5th or 6th restaurant he started in the last year or two?
Okay, so he's got Javi's Tacos, and there are
multiple locations.
What, about 3 of those, maybe?
I guess that.
Okay. He has Helados Locos, the ice cream place in Lakeside. He has Frosted Mug Sports Bar on 204th Street. And he has Time to Rise and Shine Elkhorn.
Yes.
Which is a breakfast place. By the way, I've met with Javi a couple times.
He's a busy guy.
He's a great guy. Like, he is fun to talk to, like super high energy. I could see him, I mean, I don't want to say this is his plan, but I could see him being like one of these like restaurant kings of America and having locations all over the country.
It would seem that in the Mexican restaurant space that there's a lot of competition. Over the last 3 years, I think we've reported on probably 15 different Mexican restaurants.
Oh, there's so many of them, yeah. But people love them and never get tired of Mexican restaurants. Chick-fil-A has started construction on its future location southwest of 156th and Maple by Union Pizzeria and Sports Bar.
It's American Interstate Plaza, Lockwood's development.
Smash Park getting very, very close to opening.
Other than this summer, do we know what the opening date is?
For Smash Park?
Yeah.
June. Yeah, we've got it narrowed down to a month, June. But this is the big outdoor entertainment center, kind of pickleball focused, but other things. Good food, good restaurant, good bar. It's based out of Des Moines, Iowa, and has a handful of locations.
And there's going to be another hotel right next to it, but we haven't seen that go up yet.
Yeah, in fact, I was kind of wondering when we were going to start to see progress on that.
I think you're going to see 2 to 4 more hotels in that whole Southport area by the sports complex. On both sides of Giles Road.
We've got a new Aldi store coming to 9549 South 71st Street in Papillion. That's the northeast corner of 72nd and Cornhusker. And this Aldi will have a sneak peek opening. Sneak peek.
Wow.
May 22nd. You know that you're a big deal if you've got a sneak peek. And then the grand opening ribbon cutting the following day, May 23rd. We got to go down to the Capitol District because the Jewel on Capitol, the new, the reincarnated live music venue officially opened last night.
It's awesome, and I encourage everybody to go check it out. Support local music and traveling bands, but support local venues. I'll tell you, the Jewel is really a jewel. It is fun to go there with friends and just kind of laid back, and they do a great job.
Located inside the Capital District Marriott. It closed last fall, and a lot of people, including some people right here in the studio right now, were quite disappointed when we lost that attraction last fall. Well, Dundee Double Shot, a coffee house, is now serving roasts named after Omaha neighborhoods, including Benson, of course, Dundee, and the Old Market. So that's kind of a cool deal.
Sounds delicious.
I'll take an Old Market, please. All right, Rue 21, one of the teeny bopper retail chains, popular all across America, closing every one of its 550
Couldn't
stores.
find a buyer that would pay more than the liquidation value.
Including Westroads and Oakview Mall. That's it for this week. Thank God you don't have to listen to this voice anymore. I'm Jeff Beals.
And I'm Trenton Magid.
This has been Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.